Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angryprepper. Today's video, we're going to talk about why is New York City getting worse? Or rather, one of the reasons why. Now, there are many reasons why New York City is getting worse, but one reason that we're starting to pay attention to is the numbers of police officers retiring. Now, last year, NYPD saw a 75% increase in retirement, or people handing in their retirement papers, if you will, right? So that was a 75% increase, which is a lot, considering a lot of cops were doing a little more than 20 and not just 20 years and leaving. A lot of cops are doing 20 years and leaving. Some are staying a little after, some are actually leaving a little before. Nonetheless, that's a trend that we need to watch as preppers who live in the city, because that means crime is undoubtedly going to get worse than it already is, and it's pretty bad now. So 5,300 cops in 2020, last year, handed in their retirement paper, again, to get out of the job. Now, a lot of the things that changed for them were the rioting from last year, the pandemic, undoubtedly, the spike in shootings and the spike in attack on the cops, or the anti-police movement, if you will. That's what's actually fueling them to leave. That's a lot to go on, guys. Cops have to deal with enough. And then you have a lot of suicides going on and no one's really addressing it. That's the other problem, right? So I could tell you that if, a bunch of my buddies were killing themselves, and listen, not a lot of cops killed themselves. I don't want to say a bunch, making it sound like 20, 30 cops, but it was enough last year. And if you're seeing that trend and no one's correcting it, no one's trying to correct it, you got a mayor who hates you, who does nothing to talk good about you, who does nothing but to arm the criminals of New York City to let them do what they do, and that is disrespect the cops and do what they've been doing to the cops. Throwing shit at them, throwing buckets, water, right? Attacking the cars, burning out the cars during the riots, all of these things, and they're not being reprimanded. The criminals are, right? Let one cop choke out a fat dude who dies because he was fucking fat and not because he was choked out. And then the city is up in arms over that. Keep in mind, that unhealthy piece of shit died because he was an unhealthy piece of shit. But let me not go in that direction just yet. As far as preppers go, guys, this is going to be something we need to watch, because obviously crime is spiking. Again, I haven't seen anything like this since the 80s. And I'm 43, so I remember the 80s and I remember the 90s. And both those decades were bad for New York City. They did get better in the late 90s into early 2000s. They started getting better. And then you were able to, walk around without being nervous. Now, me personally, I could walk around without being nervous. I'm not worried about it. But a lot of people have to worry about it. This is where protecting yourself, situational awareness, is going to come into play. Now, the 5,300 that left the job is 15% of the uniform workforce, if I'm not mistaken. Keep in mind, there's 36,000 to 37,000 police officers, right? So 5,000, or a little more than 5,000 leaving, is about 15% of the force. Now, how does that damage their manpower? It depends, right? I mean, I don't know what and listen, PD's a big agency. NYPD is a big agency. So, a lot of the cops that are leaving, I hear, are cops that are on the streets, detectives that are on the streets, guys that are still doing it. They're not sitting at a desk. They're not hiding out of the police precinct. They're actually on the streets. So a lot of them are leaving. How that affects us, again, guys, is just more crime. Criminals are going to start noticing less cops, and they're like, I think it's time for us to do some bad shit. There's nothing here. There's no cops here. Now, criminals are not giving a shit now. They are doing shit in front of the cops. So now just imagine, now that there's less cops in the street, you got to shuffle cops around to cover certain bad areas, right? Which, listen, guys, it sucks, but the bad areas are going to be inundated with a lot of cops. Not a lot of cops, but they're going to have cops shuffled around to those areas, right? And the cleaner areas, the good areas, are not going to have cops, and then you're going to see a spike in crime there, which are usually muggings and robberies. Now, the anti-cop rhetoric that's been going on in this country for 3 years now, maybe 4 years, right? It's gotten stronger, obviously. And so cops are also leaving based on that, right? The lack of support from the politicians in this city. Now, listen, I know some of you are going to be like, well, it's the same in my city. I get it. There's a lack of support for NYPD, and we're seeing it every day. And we're seeing politicians like de Blasio, the piece of shit that he is, not doing anything, right? So when he reprimands criminals, it's sort of like, well, you shouldn't have did it. Shame on you, right? When a cop does something, he's like, well, we're going to investigate it and throw the book at him. I'm like, damn, really, right? So now people see that and go, the mayor doesn't even like the cops. And all over them they go. Now, back to why it affects us. That means, guys, more than ever now, the whole stun gun, pepper spray, or mace, or taking some kind of hand-to-hand martial arts or some kind of fighting skill is going to be needed. Because now that I'm telling you guys this, or making you guys aware, not that I'm telling you, making you aware, you should definitely start doing something. Take some kind of training. Guys, even a stun gun and mace or pepper spray, you still need to learn how to use it. Because just because on the directions on the back, it goes, well, pull the tab up and then press spray. It's not that easy when you're panicking, right? So you have to definitely practice with it, right? Get yourself two. Make sure you dump one on, like on a parking lot somewhere where there's nobody around. Make sure the wind is on your back and not in your face, so that when you're practicing with it, you're not rolling around the ground fucking, crying your eyes out because you got the shit in your face. As far as the stun gun goes, I think there's some stun gun training courses. You have to look that up. I'm not sure. I thought I heard of a couple a while back, but like I said, I could be mistaken. But look those up if they have them. And hand-to-hand fighting styles, guys, go for something that's going to be more realistic. All right, karate and taekwondo, they're great courses, but you want something that's a little more nitty-gritty, and you want something that's going to get you out of the situation, right? You want something that you're going to hit the dude in the neck and then run. You're not going to sit there and fight with him like you're Gina Carano or something, right? You want to get in and get out. That's the purpose of hand-to-hand fighting. It's the same thing with mace and the same thing with a stun gun. You're going to stun him, boom, and leave. You're going to spray him in the face, and you're going to leave. Now, the bigger point to this video is New York City during the summer is going to get out of control. I think we're going to see record shootings over the summer. We're seeing record shooting now. We've seen an increase like we've never seen before. So with that being said, guys, the summer is going to be shitty for those of us that live in the city. So if that is the case, do you know what that means? That means you definitely have to be aware of what you're doing, where you're doing it, and how bad that situation could get. Right now, obviously, the rioting and looting is down to a minimal. Well, it's a non-existent here in New York. I know around the country it's at a minimal. It's here and there, so that's good. But the summer is going to be the worst thing New York City has seen in a long time. Because I just had this bad feeling that shootings are going to fucking skyrocket. There are going to be more issues with cops fighting them in the middle of the street. We're going to see some shit we haven't seen in a long time. We're going to definitely see a bad summer because de Blasio refuses to do anything about it. Alright guys, so other than that, this is the Angryprepper. Thank you for watching. You can like and subscribe to this channel. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. You can also head over to the Angry Truth channel, like and subscribe to that channel. Head over to the Angry Truth Instagram page and follow me there as well. Other than that, guys, thank you for watching.